If keto worked so well, then why do 95% of people fail? They lose weight at first, then stall, then crave carbs, then quit and say, keto didn't work for me. But here's the truth, keto didn't fail them. They were never in ketosis to begin with. Let me explain. 95% of people who start keto believe they failed because they lacked discipline, motivation, or willpower. But the truth is far more disturbing because most of them were never actually doing keto at all, even though they followed the rules, counted the carbs, avoided sugar, and watched the scale every single morning with hope slowly turning into frustration. What they were really doing was starving a body that was metabolically broken, hormonally confused, and trapped in a state where fat burning was biologically impossible no matter how hard they tried. The human body does not lose weight because you eat fewer calories. It loses weight when insulin goes down. And this single hormone mistake is the reason keto works miracles for a few people and completely collapses for everyone else. Insulin is not just a blood sugar hormone. It is the master fat storage switch. And when insulin is elevated, fat is locked away like money in a vault that cannot be opened, even during fasting, even during workouts, even on a perfect low carb diet. Most people start keto already insulin resistant after years of sugar, grains, processed food, stress, and constant eating, which means their insulin levels stay high even when carbs are low, and that creates the illusion of keto failure. They think they are burning fat, but their body is still in storage mode. This is why weight loss happens fast in the first week, because glycogen and water are leaving the body, not fat. And when real fat loss should begin, everything suddenly stops. The scale freezes, hunger explodes, cravings return stronger than before, energy crashes, and people assume keto is unsustainable, when in reality, their insulin never dropped low enough to access stored fat. What makes this worse is the modern keto industry that sells snacks, bars, desserts, shakes, and sweeteners labeled keto while quietly spiking insulin and sabotaging metabolism. Studies show that artificial sweeteners can trigger insulin release even without raising blood glucose, confusing the brain and reinforcing hunger signals, which explains why people eating keto desserts feel hungrier than before they started. The body does not respond to marketing terms, it responds to chemistry. Every time insulin rises, fat burning shuts off, and insulin rises far more often than people realize. Snacking is one of the most destructive habits in modern nutrition because insulin does not care how small the snack is, it only cares that food arrived, and every bite resets fat burning back to zero. Most people on keto snack all day long, nuts here, cheese there, fat bombs, keto coffee, protein shakes, never allowing insulin to fall low enough for long enough to burn meaningful fat. Research on meal frequency shows that constant eating keeps insulin elevated for most of the day, while fewer meals allow insulin to drop and metabolic flexibility to return. Yet this principle is ignored by nearly everyone who fails keto. Another silent killer is protein excess. Protein is essential for life, but in excess, it converts into glucose through gluconeogenesis, especially in insulin-resistant individuals, leading to higher insulin levels without a single gram of sugar being eaten. This is why people who live on chicken breast, protein bars, and shakes stall, while those who balance protein and rely on fat as fuel succeed. Keto is not a high-protein diet. It is a low-insulin diet. Fat is not the enemy on keto. Fat is the signal that tells the body it is safe to stop storing and start burning. When people fear fat, undereat calories, and overeat protein, the body perceives starvation, raises stress hormones, and holds onto fat even harder as a survival mechanism. This is not a failure of discipline, it is a predictable biological response. Another reason keto fails is impatience. Insulin resistance does not develop in weeks, it develops over years, sometimes decades, and expecting the body to reverse that damage in a few days is unrealistic. Clinical research shows that metabolic healing happens before weight loss, not after, meaning the scale may stay the same while insulin sensitivity improves, inflammation drops, and organs begin to function properly again. People quit right before the breakthrough. They misinterpret the pause as failure instead of healing. The scale becomes the judge, jury, and executioner, even though it cannot measure insulin, inflammation, or metabolic repair. What's even more tragic is that keto actually works best for the people who fail it: the insulin resistant, the pre diabetic, the metabolically damaged, but only if done correctly and long enough. When insulin finally drops, hunger disappears without effort, energy stabilizes, cravings lose their power, and fat loss begins automatically, not through suffering, but through biology doing what it was designed to do. The real reason 95% fail is not because keto is too hard, but because modern nutrition has taught people to fight their bodies instead of working with them. They chase taste over science, speed over healing, and marketing over metabolism. They follow rules without understanding hormones. They eat keto foods instead of eating for ketosis. They blame themselves instead of insulin. And the moment they understand this, everything changes because keto stops being a diet and becomes a metabolic strategy, one that does not rely on willpower but on physiology. When insulin is controlled, fat loss is not a struggle, it is a consequence. And that is the truth most people never hear before they give up. The real science of keto success is not found in carb counts, calorie charts, or food labels, but deep inside the hormonal wiring of the human body, a system designed to survive famine, store energy efficiently, and only release fat when the environment is safe enough to do so. Ketosis is not a diet trend. It is a metabolic state that humans have relied on for survival for thousands of years, long before grocery stores, snacks, or 3 meals a day ever existed. At its core, ketosis happens when insulin stays low long enough for the body to switch from burning sugar to burning fat, both dietary fat and stored body fat. And this switch does not respond to motivation or discipline, it responds only to chemistry. Insulin is the gatekeeper. When insulin is high, fat is locked away. When insulin is low, fat becomes accessible. This is not opinion, it is physiology. Multiple metabolic studies confirm that elevated insulin suppresses lipolysis, the process by which fat cells release fatty acids, meaning that even in a calorie deficit, fat loss can be biologically blocked if insulin remains elevated. This is why people can eat less, exercise more, and still not lose fat. Keto works when it lowers insulin consistently, not occasionally, not temporarily, but day after day, long enough for the body to trust that it no longer needs to protect its fat stores. One of the most misunderstood aspects of keto science is protein. Protein is essential for muscle repair, enzymes, and hormones, but the body has no storage tank for excess protein. So when intake exceeds need, the liver converts it into glucose through gluconeogenesis, a survival mechanism that quietly raises blood sugar and insulin without a single carb being eaten. This process is amplified in insulin resistant individuals, which explains why people doing clean keto with lean meats often stall for months. They are unknowingly feeding sugar metabolism while believing they are fat adapted. True ketogenic nutrition uses protein strategically, not aggressively, and relies on fat as the primary fuel source because fat has the smallest insulin response of all macronutrients. Fat sends a signal of safety to the brain. It tells the body that famine is over, stress hormones can relax, and stored energy can finally be released. This is why keto done correctly reduces cortisol, stabilizes blood sugar, and eliminates hunger, not through restriction, but through hormonal alignment. Another overlooked scientific principle is meal timing. Research on insulin dynamics shows that insulin does not return to baseline immediately after eating. It can remain elevated for hours, especially in insulin resistant individuals, which means frequent eating keeps the body in a constant fat storage state. This is why keto without meal control often fails. Snacking, even on fat, interrupts the insulin drop required for fat burning, and over time conditions the body to expect constant food, weakening metabolic flexibility. Studies on intermittent fasting and reduced meal frequency show improved insulin sensitivity, increased fat oxidation, and enhanced mitochondrial efficiency. Not because fasting is magical, but because it creates the hormonal environment required for ketosis to work. Ketosis is not activated by food alone, It is activated by the absence of insulin. Another critical piece of the science is adaptation. When the body switches from glucose to fat as its primary fuel, there is a temporary period of discomfort known as keto adaptation, during which enzymes, mitochondria, and electrolyte balance must recalibrate. This is where many people quit. They experience fatigue, brain fog, weakness, and assume keto is harmful, when in reality, their body is transitioning away from sugar dependency, a process similar to withdrawal. Research shows that once fat adaptation occurs, the body becomes more efficient at producing ATP, the energy currency of cells, from fat and ketones, resulting in more stable energy, better mental clarity, and improved endurance. Ketones themselves are not just fuel, they are signaling molecules that reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and enhance brain function. Beta hydroxybutyrate, the primary ketone, has been shown to inhibit inflammatory pathways and improve mitochondrial health, which explains why keto has therapeutic benefits beyond weight loss, including improvements in type 2 diabetes, epilepsy, and neurodegenerative diseases. This is why keto done right feels different. It feels calm, it feels steady, it feels sustainable. But keto done wrong feels like constant effort, hunger, and frustration because the body never fully transitions into fat burning. Another scientific reality is that weight loss is not linear. Fat loss occurs in waves, not daily drops, because the body prioritizes healing organs, reducing inflammation, and restoring insulin sensitivity before releasing visible fat. Clinical observations consistently show improvements in blood markers long before changes on the scale, but people are taught to trust the scale more than biology. The science is clear. When insulin improves, fat loss follows, not the other way around. Keto is not about forcing weight loss. It is about removing the hormonal barriers that prevent it. When those barriers fall, the body does what it was designed to do. The final piece of the science is consistency. Insulin resistance is not reversed by occasional low carb days, cheat meals, or weekend keto, because insulin responds to patterns, not intentions. Research on metabolic flexibility shows that consistent low insulin environments retrain the body to switch fuels efficiently, while inconsistency keeps it stuck in sugar dependence. This is why mostly keto often fails. The body needs clear signals, not mixed messages. When keto is understood as a metabolic therapy rather than a diet, everything changes. Food choices become strategic, hunger becomes informative instead of frightening, and fat loss becomes predictable instead of random. The science does not care about trends. It only responds to hormones. And when insulin is finally controlled, ketosis stops being difficult and starts being automatic, not because the body was forced, but because it was finally allowed to function the way it always knew how. Doing keto the right way is not about perfection, discipline, or eating strange foods forever. It is about building a daily structure that finally allows the body to feel safe enough to let go of stored fat. And this safety is created through consistency, simplicity, and respect for human biology. Most people fail not because keto is too strict, but because their daily habits keep sending mixed signals to their hormones, telling the body to store fat one moment and burn it the next, creating confusion instead of clarity. The body does not understand intentions, it understands patterns, and keto only works when the daily pattern keeps insulin low for long enough to matter. The foundation of real keto begins with food that the human body recognizes, food that requires no marketing, no label, and no justification because metabolic health is built on ingredients that existed long before modern disease. Eggs, meat, fish, and natural fats form the core because they have the lowest insulin response while providing the nutrients required for repair, hormone production, and cellular energy. Research consistently shows that whole foods with minimal processing produce lower insulin responses and greater satiety compared to ultra-processed alternatives, even when calories are matched. Vegetables are included not for energy, but for minerals, fiber, and gut health. And only the ones that grow above ground are chosen because they minimize glucose impact while supporting digestion. the carb threshold matters more than people want to admit. Staying under 20 grams of net carbohydrates is not an arbitrary rule. It is the line at which insulin remains low enough for ketosis to be sustained in most insulin-resistant individuals, and exceeding it repeatedly prevents the metabolic switch from fully engaging. Cheat days are not harmless. Studies on insulin sensitivity show that even short-term high carbohydrate intake can temporarily reverse metabolic improvements, meaning one day of indulgence can undo several days of hormonal progress. This is not punishment, it is physiology. Meal structure is the next critical piece. Eating 2 meals per day works not because it is trendy, but because it creates extended periods of low insulin, allowing fat cells to finally release stored energy. Research on time-restricted eating demonstrates improved insulin sensitivity, increased fat oxidation, and reduced inflammation, even without calorie restriction, simply by reducing how often food enters the system. Snacking destroys this process. Every snack, no matter how small, restarts insulin secretion and pauses fat burning, training the body to depend on constant food instead of stored energy. Hunger on keto is not an emergency, it is information. True hunger signals that fat intake may be too low or insulin has not yet stabilized. And the correct response is not to add carbs, but to add fat, because fat quiets hunger hormones while keeping insulin low. This is where many people panic and quit because they have been taught to fear fat, even though dietary fat produces the smallest insulin response of all macronutrients. Fat is not the enemy, insulin is. Hydration and electrolytes are another silent factor that determines success or failure. Low insulin causes the kidneys to release sodium, which can lead to fatigue, headaches, and weakness if electrolytes are not replenished, symptoms often mistaken for keto being harmful. Scientific literature on ketogenic adaptation clearly shows that maintaining adequate sodium, potassium, and magnesium supports energy production, nerve function, and muscle performance during fat adaptation. When electrolytes are balanced, energy returns, cravings drop, and keto becomes sustainable instead of exhausting. Expectations must also be reset. Fat loss is not immediate because the body prioritizes healing before releasing excess weight. Clinical evidence shows improvements in insulin sensitivity, liver fat, and inflammatory markers often occur weeks before significant scale changes. But these invisible victories are the foundation of long-term success. When the metabolism heals, fat loss accelerates naturally. Sleep plays a larger role than most people realize. Sleep deprivation increases insulin resistance, raises cortisol, and amplifies hunger hormones, making fat loss biologically harder regardless of diet quality. Studies consistently link poor sleep with stalled weight loss and increased cravings, even in low-carb populations, proving that keto cannot override sleep debt. Stress management is equally critical. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which raises blood sugar and insulin, silently blocking ketosis even when carbs are low. This explains why people doing everything right still stall during periods of emotional or psychological stress. The solution is not more restriction, but more recovery. The final and most overlooked principle is patience. The body releases fat only when it feels safe, and safety is created through consistent signals, not aggressive timelines. Metabolic healing follows the same rule as physical healing. It cannot be rushed without causing damage. People who succeed on keto are not more disciplined, they are more consistent. They eat simply, they eat predictably, they stop negotiating with cravings. Over time, the body learns that sugar is no longer required, fat is abundant, and survival mode can finally switch off. When that happens, hunger disappears, energy stabilizes, and fat loss becomes a side effect rather than a goal. Keto stops being something you do and becomes something your body does automatically. This is the right way to do keto, not as a diet, but as a daily metabolic agreement with your body. And when that agreement is honored long enough, the body responds by doing what it was designed to do all along.